So you just heard their vaccines are indeed arriving in Canada tonight. The person at the centre of the vaccine approval process is Dr. Supriya Sharma, and she's the Chief Medical Advisor for Health Canada. Dr. Sharma joins me this Sunday from Ottawa. Nice to see you, Dr. Sharma. Nice to meet you finally.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me be here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So it's busy days for both the Major General and for you, Doctor. What are the things you're keeping an eye on over the next week as these vaccines actually start to happen and start to get into people?
Well, the regulatory authorization has already happened, so that's why they're on the move. And now it's really in the logistics and getting it out to the different sites. Of course, in starting the vaccination properly, and what we're going to be doing is monitoring them as people started to get vaccinated to make sure we're looking out for any side effects, any adverse reactions, and making sure that all of the storage requirements and the administration all goes very smoothly.
Health Canada released some guidelines yesterday about allergic reactions to the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Just maybe give people a sense of what you're actually telling people and whether they should really be concerned or not.
Sure. Well, it really was in response to the 2 reports in the United Kingdom of people who had serious allergic reactions. They're well, they're fine, they were treated, and those symptoms have resolved. So we went back and took a look at all the data and the information that we have already in our product monograph to give people advice if they have an allergy, not to vaccines, but if they have an allergy to food or another medication, what they should do. And basically the recommendations are still what we had done for the authorization, that if you have an allergy to a vaccine or this vaccine or any components of the vaccine, you should not get it. But if you have other allergies, you can go ahead and get vaccinated, but you should be watching for any signs and symptoms, and wherever you get that vaccine, they should have the ability to treat any serious adverse reactions or allergic reactions.
Okay, that's good information for people. I know we're focused on the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine getting out the door, but you just heard from the Major General. He's also focused on the next one. Moderna, I know, is next in line for approval. What can you tell us about how close you are to approving Moderna?
So you're right. We have 3 vaccines that are under review right now: the Moderna vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, and the one from Johnson & Johnson. And out of those 3, Moderna is the most advanced. We were expecting some key information coming in on Friday, and that came in. So we have people that are reviewing that over the weekend. We have some additional information on manufacturing of the Moderna vaccine that's expected to come in sort of mid-late this week. And so we'll be in a better place to give more accurate predictions in terms of the ending of the review once we get that information in.
Sounds like maybe the next week or 10 days would probably be a good guess, given you guys seem to be working round the clock. The Major General suggested that he's preparing for it in January, but could it come sooner, do you think?
It could. I mean, really what we're doing is doing those things simultaneously. So our reviewers are reviewing the vaccine, and the planning is taking place simultaneously so that everyone is ready. You know, if an authorization comes and the company is able to ship quickly, that the whole system is ready to be able to distribute and administer the vaccine.
The U.S. is approving Moderna, I believe, on Thursday as the expectation. Could we be around the same time as then? Because I know we tend to work very closely with the FDA.
Right, so the U.S. FDA has their committee meeting on the 17th, and you know, they did look at things very quickly after their committee meeting on Pfizer, so we're expecting around the same timeline. So, I mean, I think we're aligned with the other regulators with respect to our review. So it really does depend, though, on the information specifically on the manufacturing for the product that's destined for Canada that we're really expecting. So until we get that, it's really difficult to predict how long it might take after that.
I know Moderna is looking at how their vaccine will work with children. And I think that's a question a lot of Canadians have right now, because obviously children aren't part of clinical trials. What is your expectation for when kids might be able to get vaccinated?
Well, it comes down to the data. So both Pfizer and Moderna have plans for expanding their scope, so their age ranges. With respect to the Pfizer vaccine, there were some kids in the clinical trials down to the age of 12, but very few numbers between 12 and 15. They are planning on doing additional studies in children, so from the age of 5 to 12, starting in April 2021. And with the Moderna vaccine, they've already started doing some recruitment of participants into the clinical trials in some of the lower age ranges. So, that data will be coming in. We don't have to redo all of the big studies in children. So you do some of the early studies in children to make sure that the vaccine is safe and that you have initial information about how effective it is. And then you do what's called bridging studies to use the data that you already have in adults to be able to then have the indication for children. So we're working through it, but we don't have that data yet.
Okay, Dr. Sharma, just quickly, this is obviously an exciting day. The next 24 hours are going to be pretty exciting for the country, but lots of us aren't getting this vaccine for quite some time. So what would you tell Canadians as we watch the vaccine start to arrive?
Well, I would say it's an important step. Getting these first vaccinations administered. The people that are in the priority group are in the priority group for a reason. They're the ones that are most vulnerable to either get COVID-19 or get very sick from it. So it's really important that we get those out as soon as possible. And then we'll be getting additional supplies of vaccine and we'll be rolling those out. So right now we're working, prioritizing the populations, but people should really, watch that closely, follow that, and then when it is their turn, really encourage them to get vaccinated as well, because you're not just protecting yourself, but it's really community protection that we're looking at with vaccines.
For sure. Dr. Supriya Sharma, nice to meet you. Thank you for making the time this Sunday. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much.
That's Dr. Supriya Sharma, Canada's Chief Medical Advisor here in Ottawa today.